Hey and welcome, I'm Hammeh, and this is my guide to where to start reading up on and discovering Overwatch's rich lore. As Overwatch is a multiplayer team shooter with no campaign mode, a lot of people get confused as to where to find the rich story, background and lore of the cast and the world. Look no further, here's 10 top sources of lore and story that you can explore to throw yourself into the world of Overwatch, your favourite characters and the locations in which you play. First up, head on over to the Play Overwatch site and have a look at hero biographies there. Now these are great for general character background. You can see stuff on all 21 heroes and it's really good to understand a bit about not only the world but the story of your favourite characters. These are really good for general word detail and history to get a flavour of what's going on in the world and what your hero that you're choosing has actually been up to in the past. I wouldn't take the ages and some of the dates there as absolute gospel. For example, Mercy's age was actually tweaked a little bit before launch just to make sure that it was in line with some other things, or so we imagine. So as a result, these have limited use in precise timelining, and that's something we'll go over in another video, but they give a really good frame for the course of events and what was going on in the world. So go on over to the Overwatch website, check out your favourite hero. You should totally go and check out the blog on playoverwatch.com as well. There's some really cool stuff there that's also used both to tease future heroes and events in the game, as well as fill in the backstory and even update us on the present day. There's too many to mention. I'll throw out a quick couple of ones that you should go take a look at. One of them's Fading Glory on the Trail of Jack Morrison, done by Atlas News' Olympia Shaw, and the other is the Overwatch backblog that's been done just at launch, which has some of the content that's actually from the Collector's Edition sourcebook. You can get some really good history of characters, context on current day events, and even teasers of future characters. For example, Liao, the 6th founding member of Overwatch, was introduced in this recent blog and the Collector's Edition sourcebook. Go check it out, really cool stuff there. Next up, we've got a really awesome source in the animated shorts. Now there are 4 of these. They give really cool character background for the characters that feature in them, and for most of them also give more present day details, as it were, in the Overwatch timeline. We're not quite sure of the precise times that these are set, but they feel as if they're in the present through a few details within them. They also give some context as to other events and things that have happened too. In the order that they were released, we've got Recall, which details Winston trying to recall Overwatch agents to duty, in spite of the fact that it's illegal under the Petrus Act, and Reaper and Talon trying to attack the base to try and get the locations of all Overwatch agents. After that, we were then treated to Alive, the story of Takata Mondata, the noted Omnic leader of the Shambali, going to go and give a speech in King's Row, and then Widowmaker of Talon being sent to assassinate him. Tracer happened to be in the area. I won't spoil the end, but you should go and find out what happens. After that, we then were treated to Dragons, which was the tale of Hanzo returning to Hanamura, the home of the Shimada clan, of his family clan, a criminal empire that was broken apart by Overwatch with the help of Genji, his brother. Hanzo goes there every year to try and reconcile the demons of his past, and he encounters his brother, who he didn't seem to know was actually alive. Really cool short there. Finally, we were treated to Hero. Now that was the short detailing the story of Alejandra, a girl who lives in Dorado, which is under the sway of the Los Muertos gang, and an area where there's a bunch of anti-Omnic feeling and problems going on at the moment. Alejandra talks of the heroes of old, and she's in a lot of trouble as her money is stolen by a gang. However, we then see Soldier 76 turn up when Alejandra is in trouble, and you should go and watch it if you haven't already, to see how the rest of the story ends. These shorts are really cool because they can offer up some interesting questions of detail. In Dragons, without giving it away, there's sort of a debate as to science and magic that's shown by some of the characters' abilities. And they very often actually tie with levels in game in terms of changes and tweaks, which we'll come on to in a later point. There's 4 of them out there, as I've said. A second season was teased at the end of Dragons in its YouTube description, and various different Overwatch team members have said that they love making these and would love to make more. So fingers crossed we'll get more for different heroes or different parts of the timeline in future. Go check them out if you haven't already. Really cool. And number 3, there's a whole bunch of other official videos that you should go check out. Now some of these are teasers, other of them are more fully fledged teaser assets, some of them are little story videos as well, but they all have something in common in that they drop in little bits of lore, story and flavour that again give background to the world and also give background to heroes. Some of these can show things that comment on the past, some on the present. 3 quick examples of this, although there are a few more. The Soldier 76 Origins trailer gives a bit of background, of course, Soldier 76 and Morrison's story, as well as Overwatch and the Omnic Crisis. There's Are You With Us, which is a little theatrical teaser that shows events around Overwatch history, some of the original lineup and events in the timeline, which is Winston sort of making the call to arms around the open beta, as well as some problems in the world too. Last but not least, there's Junkrat and Roadhog's A Moment in Crime, showing a whole bunch more about their crime spree and a bit about what those 2 characters got up to, as well as how they're perceived on the news or on a Overwatch Crime Busters show at the moment. All really cool. There's a bunch of those. Easiest place to find them, head over to the Overwatch official YouTube channel to watch all of that goodness. Number 4, we've got the Overwatch digital comics. Now these are really awesome. You should head over, I think, to comic.playoverwatch.com, or if you like an animated version with a bit of music, you should go over to Madefire. You can get those totally for free and they're really sweet. Now there are 6 of these comics. They detail the stories of McCree, Reinhardt, Farah, Symmetra, Torbjorn and Junkrat and Roadhog, each in a little encapsulated little bite of their story and what they did at a particular event or an amount or something that happened in their lives, which is very, very cool. These are kind of, if there is such a thing as canon, written by Blizzard or with Blizzard support with externally commissioned art. There's a variety of different art styles for those of you into your comics, and they're really, really cool. They're not too long, 10 pages each, but they're nice little self-contained stories. Some of them are more lore-y than others, but all of them give nice character insight and background. For example, in the Reinhardt comic, it confirmed Brigitte, his sort of travelling companion, mechanic and squire. The Farah comic shows that Farah believes her mother, Anna Amari, to probably be dead, but we don't want to believe that, do we really? All really cool. I'd go and read all of those 6. They're brilliant little fun reads in themselves, and they give you some nice little lore and story as well. Go check them out. Next up, we've got hero voice lines and interactions. Now, obviously, these are a favourite of mine as I've done a whole bunch of videos on them. They give you really, really good flavour and some potential lore. It's worth flagging with these that some have been added to the game, some have been in the game files and then removed, some have not been in the game files and then have been added. I'll give you some ideas about how to try and interpret or find your way through the lore in a different video in this series. However, one thing worth bearing in mind is that it's been said by the dev team and by the Overwatch guys that an actual game is kind of an out-of-world experience in a sense. So, for example, Reaper fighting alongside Winston is not something that is happening in canon, and therefore the lore and story outside of the game does not have to explain it. I think they can give great flavour of lore and suggestions and hints of lore, but you don't have to take the situation, like the heroes fighting with each other that I've just mentioned, as being a canon situation. So it could be a bite of lore, but delivered in a non-canon situation.
Think you can do my job, do you?
How embarrassing. Someone has to.
To find these, you should listen out before every single game of Overwatch. When you're in the spawn, characters will have banter back and forth with each other. When characters spawn on levels, they also have some banter with each other. And finally, when events happen in games, such as kill streaks, certain heroes killing each other in front of each other, and a whole bunch of other things too. Keep an eye out for them. Of course, you can have a look at my whole Overwatch voice line and interaction series, which I'm going to link just below for you. At number 6, we've got in-game maps. Now, the maps and worlds of Overwatch are a really lovely source of world context. Map descriptions to start with from patch notes in the beta you can find online and on the Blizzard forums, as well as descriptions in the source book from the collector's edition, give a really lovely background to the levels and the visual feel of Overwatch. You can see, for example, the technology of the world and how people are living. It's a really good way to literally immerse yourself in the world. Now, in-game, you have a second kind of cool things too. There are loads of Easter eggs dotted around the maps that are worth seeing. Some of these are just direct Blizzard references, which I've covered in my Easter egg series. Other of these are actually used to point to heroes, teasing heroes and events, and also tease animated shorts. A really quick list of examples of some of these are the big Diva poster in Hammeh was there before Diva was actually announced. A Roadhog newspaper was visible in several levels before Roadhog was announced as a hero. Sombra has been on a table in Dorado even before since the beta was live, and also this new character in the anime Spawn, who some have speculated to be Sombra, or maybe even a support sniper. The list goes on. I've covered a whole bunch of these in my lore series. Take a look on the channel if you've not seen already. At number 7, we've got developer interviews. Now, the dev team, as part of promoting Overwatch and as part of explaining the story to the community and to people, give a whole bunch of interviews to a various different bunch of outlets and community sites. Now, these interviews give some philosophy, some background, and tools to help you interpret the story and world. They may not have loads of direct facts, but they certainly give you information that's useful in helping you navigate your way through all of the different things I'm talking about. There are some cool interviews on gaming sites, too many to list, but I'll try and suggest some in future. And there are also interviews on podcasts. For example, I'd have a look for The Instance podcast that had an interview with Michael Chu where he had quite a good chat about story there as well. So yeah, go have a look for those. There's some really cool stuff out there. And also keep an eye out for new ones in future. At number 8, we've got tweets from the dev team. Now, tweets and all of the above sometimes give some pretty interesting clarifications. You're not going to get huge reams of lore or reams of new things, because of course, people's Twitters are personal and they've got lives to live. But there are some cool bits every now and then. For example, one of the Overwatch leads on story did mention on Twitter and confirm that Bastion is actually an Omnic. It was one thing that had been debated by quite a lot of lore fiends like myself for quite a while. The Overwatch team are pretty good at answering the occasional question, so worth having a look for that as well if you've managed to get through all the above. At number 9, we've got the Collector's Edition Sourcebook. Now, I know not everyone's got access to one of these, but the Sourcebook has a few beautiful little gems of lore in, as well as some wonderful art and background that's not actually seen anywhere else as well. For example, we can learn that Zenyatta's orbs are supported or fueled with Omnic energy. Now, what Omnic energy is, well, that's another matter. But there's cool stuff in there as an example for supporting material. You also see a young picture of Farah, and you can also see a picture of Anna Amari, Farah's mother, that's not seen anywhere else on the Farah page of the book. Stay tuned for my Collector's Edition Lorebook summary video if you weren't able to snag one yourself. And at number 10, I'd keep a little out on any blue tracker that you like for posts by developers on the Blizzard forums. Now, forum posts can give tidbits. For example, Jeff Kaplan recently said that Junkrat's flasks around his belt actually contain milk tea with boba half sweet. Whether Junkrat actually drinks bubble tea or not remains to be seen, of course, but maybe there'll be a few fun bits that can be found there as well. Whew, there we go, so that's a lot, right? I'd go lap it all up, but if you want all of the detail rounded up and summarised, or don't have the time, look no further. Check out all of my Overwatch story and lore videos that I've already done, including voice lines, comic analyses, animated short roundups, map Easter eggs, and much more right here on the channel. Thanks for tuning in to my How to Find Overwatch lore video. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, comment with what you thought in the comments below, or even better, share it on social if you know anyone else who would like it. It really helps me out. Do let me know your favourite Overwatch lore questions or conundrums in the comments below, and stand by for more cool videos coming soon. Cheers for watching. I've been Hammeh. Take it easy.